Oye. I got my AirPods. Totally loving them. I'm here at the school right now. It's been kind of rough, you could say. Truthfully, battling depression, and I refuse medication. And it's mainly me getting in my own head, basically beating myself up about truthfully, a lot of my concern sometimes comes from where basically my entire career or like livelihood or adulthood, all of my income has come from basically my looks. And you could use some of my mind in there from like marketing and, you know, the thought process of generating what I have and all the things I've done. And then, you know, the challenge that what I'm doing could be classified as sex work, basically, from doing photos and videos. And then that's not necessarily the category that I seek to be a part of, though also it's not necessarily something I hate on either. And I attempt to embrace essentially that you could say that's where I came from in some aspect because of my development throughout the industry or whatever you like to say. So yeah, I get really beat up about what am I supposed to do to financially take care of myself. And I'll be real, you guys, I get a lot of people, even from my father, you know. The joke is to just marry a rich guy. And I'm sorry. And in some ways, I'm not sorry. It's not who I am, and it's not what I'm going to do. So my career is one of the hugest things that's always knocking at my door and giving me a hard time that I'm not good enough or I'm not really in a position to take on anything. With the income, you know, not necessarily being stable, it doesn't really create any type of safety net where I feel like I could, you know, buy a piece of property or do anything that grown-ups do, essentially, I guess. And that's also kind of like frustrating too. Like, I don't really have somebody telling me what the solution is or what I'm supposed to do. And it's not really something that I want to really bring up to people that I need help with, because at the same time I don't really want to be told what to do, or most of all I don't want to be belittled, and frankly I deal with that enough. That's another shitty thing about my job, right? I actually recently got attacked by someone who thought that they knew me and were criticizing basically what I do. And what sucks, it's the outward appearance of what you think that I'm doing and that you think that my life is. And then it's not really something that you really want to like come clean about. It's kind of like wrestling, you know, like the character doesn't get broken and break kayfabe, right? Which I feel like I've already done several times, and there's only so many times that I can just like communicate the truth, yet at the same time, where's the truth getting me? That's not going to stop me from telling the truth. So there's that aspect where it's just completely like almost disabling, or you know, just making things rough. It's like, what am I supposed to do? Like, everyone thinks like acting or just I'm supposed to do that, and I just like feel like I'm 26 and I know I'm 26, yet at the same time it feels like I'm too old. And then like that part starts to eat at you too, you know, Like, you look back at your old portfolio on how you used to look, or how, like, people really loved you then, right? Stuff like that. So that really, like, really messed with your head. So as if career isn't enough to kind of push someone over the edge and make them upset, right? My love life, you guys. I get self-destructive thoughts like, who would want to be with someone who's done the things I've done? Or, like, even the outward appearance, like, who wants to be with the findom, you know? And in some aspects, like, I don't want to be with anyone. I want to be alone, and I self-sabotage almost every relationship I'm given a chance to communicate with somebody. I push people away, and I almost take pride, or I have a lot of comfort in being alone. So when things go wrong or when shit hits the fan, that's the first thing I do. I'll disappear. I go dark, as some people say. So those are two repeating problems, or things that I like to try to figure out. Something else, so, like, I already have the OnlyFans, and pushing the agenda of that gets difficult. For example, I posted a rather sexy image, and then I paid for sponsoring it on top of that, right? So I do that, I end up losing over 100 followers, and then I don't get a single person that signs up. So it definitely starts to make you wonder, is this really what I should be doing? Should I be basically begging my followers and fans or whatever to join my OnlyFans and to be supportive? I feel like my true supporters, I shouldn't have to, like, beg or even communicate what's wrong, or, like, I don't like having to ask for help, period. Most of all, like, I don't even know what I'm asking for, you know? And I'm in a position where it's like, if I had $1 million, right? If I just had money and money wasn't a concern, I just don't know what I would do. And that is kind of like what's more scary than everything else, you know? Like, trying to figure out, like, what would make you happy. I have two go-tos. Number one, I have, like, this obsessive thought and attachment to romance. And frankly, a lot of it could obviously be unrealistic and just, like, my daydreams on what my love life could possibly be like. And I wanted to say my next one was animals, but I haven't spent time with animals. I mean, other than my cat in the museum, possums, you know, and they're animals. So in some aspects, I feel stuck. And, like, normally what I would do when I get like this is I would book a flight and I would just go somewhere. But because I signed up for school, I don't feel like that's an option. I mean, right now, I have a little bit of that option because they're online classes, so I could still pursue the work. But basically, I have, like, a big paper coming up, and I need to go see a museum, and all of that seems like stuff that I need to do here. But with all of the emotional turmoil, it makes school hard. And, like, yesterday, my car wouldn't start. And it's funny too because before it happened, there was discussions on, like, what if I suddenly couldn't leave came up, and then I was put in a situation where, like, I couldn't leave. So, like, really kind of woke me up a little bit, you know, to make me, like, think about things a little bit more realistically. It was just a dead battery. I learned something the hard way a little bit. I guess, like, I was just charging my phone and I didn't turn the car on all the way, so I ended up killing the battery while I was sitting in the car. And looked at my fluids and stuff like that, so I gotta buy, like, the windshield wiper fluid, and eventually gonna need brake fluid and stuff like that. That's just, like, physical existence bullshit, basically, right? And, like, in some aspects, I don't have to worry, right? Like, I do currently have OnlyFans and the museum where I do readings. But at the same time, part of me, like, I don't feel like my soul is being filled enough. So I keep, like, wanting to turn to, like, other people or God, or just, like, I'm just, like, almost desperate for answers and solutions to what's going on. And then just, like, when you're unable to find a solution and, like, no one can give you an answer, like, it definitely creates, like, this inner violence. Like, it becomes self-destructive. Like, I literally spent the whole day in my bed yesterday, basically, and I slept, and I tried to search for answers within that just basically never came. And, like, today I'm looking into, like, different herbs and, like, different things, like apparently supposedly, like, cinnamon helps your concentration. Just, like, I was just looking into things that are just, like, gonna basically make me smarter. Or just, like, increase cognitive ability, critical thinking. I have to get a W on one of my classes. My humanities class. I looked over things and it didn't seem like I was going to be able to pull through. And then when things hit the fan yesterday, I definitely wasn't able to get my assignments done, therefore I'm gonna get a W. However, I had my butt chewed by multiple people that I never should have signed up for 4 classes for the summer, and that it's a lot, and how they usually, even in during the regular non-summer classes, that they only take on 1 class at a time. So now I'm wondering if I'm gonna have to drop a class for my my future upcoming 2 classes. I'll admit it's less stressful now that I have just this, but, like, I'm still having a hard time get through this, basically because of all of the emotional baggage, or, like, mental baggage, because, like, right, all the problems are in my head. Like, I don't really have a problem yet, but I'm making the problem. I just, like, want an end game. I want a solution. Or I think things like, maybe if I was in a position where money wasn't a problem, maybe answers would come to me more clearly. I mean, like, I've even thought about, like, a psychedelic experience. I haven't got to experience that, so I'm doing some serious soul searching, just attempting to find some more information about myself or about my situation that could just drastically change my life. And I basically keep looking to other people. I try talking to my family, and it's just like, I'm not getting the answers I'm seeking for. And it's frustrating, like, to be going through so much and, like, nobody can do anything. It's like this awful feeling in some aspects, like, I guess, like, when you're a kid, like, mommy and daddy can just make everything all better. It's not like that anymore, guys. My hair is all, like, crazy and short. Just, like, I've put in so much energy into, like, so many different houses, and it doesn't seem like I'm not quite sure that I'm really reaping benefits from anything, or just, like, I'm struggling to see any of the positive right now when I'm, like, drowning in the negative outcomes, or, like, what's occurring. Just, like, time just keeps going by, and still this empty void.